Welcome to the Everything is Better with Creators podcast. It's Hispanic Heritage Month, and we're celebrating by introducing you to some of the world's best Hispanic creators. We're kicking things off with the first culinary creator we've ever had on the podcast. For years, Alejandra Tapia, better known as Nana Joe 19, has been packing some of the most creative lunches on TikTok. With more than 6.3 million followers and 230 million likes so far, she keeps a frenetic pace, almost daily posting her own creative twist on traditional Mexican favorites like birria, ceviche, and even huitlacoche. She also puts together infinite varieties of the popular Mexican food drink agua fresca. Welcome to this episode of Everything is Better with Creators. I'm Ashley Rudder, your guide to all things happening in the creator economy. Every week, myself or my colleagues, Emma Harmon or Jamie Goodfriend, will be hosting this podcast. If that all sounds good and tasty, let's check in with Alejandra to learn how she does it all and keeps her family fed too. Roll that intro, please.
Everything is Better with Creators, the podcast that takes a deep dive into all things creator economy. Produced and presented by Whalar. Whalar, we power the creator economy. With your hosts Ashley Rudder, Emma Harmon, Jamie Goodfriend, and Marco Bertozzi.
I am the creator. And this is fresh.
Oh my goodness, what an incredible episode we have ahead of us. I've got Alejandra Tapia in here today. Alejandra, how are
Hi, I'm
you?
doing fine. How are you guys?
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so excited to have you on today because when I tell you the knowledge that you drop on your TikTok and on your Instagram has me so inspired. I just cannot wait for you to share all of the things with our listeners. So are you ready to get into this? Anytime a creator comes on the show, I always love to hear in their own words how they describe your content. So let's start there. How would you put it in a nutshell? How you would describe your content?
Honestly, I feel like I am all over the place when it comes down to my content. I try to show people how to make recipes or cook stuff in a fun way by adding comedy and or being more instead of being like a really strict way of cooking, or cooking has to be exact measurements and making it super boring, because to me that's boring. I always try to be like, if just put as much as you have or as much as your heart desires. Is like, make it your own. So I always try to make it fun for them or more relatable. Because, for example, me as a mom, sometimes I just have to go in the kitchen and work with what I have. And I record that to let people know that it's okay, it's possible, and you can do it.
100%. I think that is some of my favorite content, even though my daughter's all grown up now. Whenever I see you making like pizza bites for your son, and it's just like, it's such a nice twist because it's like, it brings it back to like, I mean, we always see what your passion is, but we also get to see a bit of insight and I love that you do add comedy. You're like, he doesn't eat anything, but he'll eat this. And it just like really helps like level set and be like, okay, she's going through the same things that every mom does. And even though obviously she's this amazing chef and has all these great capabilities, like, you know, he's just like not having it, and it's okay, which I love. It's so good. I'm so happy you
Believe it
shared
or not, my family is the hardest ones to please. Joseph, the baby, is super picky. I beg him on a daily to eat. My husband is not much of a foodie. He can care less. He's just like, whatever, just feed me so I can go to bed. I have to go to work tomorrow or something like that. And Josiah, my teenager, he's a teen going to the gym. He's like, yeah, I don't want to eat that. I'm just going to make me some chicken and rice. And it's like, oh my God, who's going to eat my food? Like, nobody wants to eat it.
Right. Oh my gosh, no. Oh my. Well, invite us
Anytime.
over because I'm here for. I will take your leftovers any day. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, we're always obsessed with origin stories, and we really love to hear about yours, and of course, how your culture has shaped and molded you.
So I was born in Mexico, in Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco, and we came here my parents brought us here when I was 1.
gorgeous.
So I was one, and they decided to move back to Mexico when I was about, honestly, those parts of my life, my brain has somehow blocked them, only because it was like, my parents had a weird mentality at that time, and I'm so glad, like, the whole what's it called, generational curses, I'm here to break them all of them.
Okay, let's talk about break it down.
So they would move us every single grade. They would move us. So when I was a third grader, I did third grade 3 times. I did third grade here in Visalia, the town where I'm at now. And then they decided to move to Farmersville, which was a town next to us. I did third grade there. And because the school year wasn't over. And then as soon as we finished there, we moved to Mexico, and then they made us do third grade there again. So I did third grade there in Mexico. Then I did fourth grade in Mexico. And when I was going to be a fifth grader, my parents decided to move back to the United States, where I skipped fifth grade and I went straight to sixth. So that's a whole, a lot of the reason why I can't read cursive. There's stuff that I just don't know. I can probably learn it now, but I'm just like, I'm just not too old to learn, but that doesn't interest me. Like, the time passed. I don't want to learn those things right now. I have other things to worry about. But going back to when they moved us to Mexico, I'm the oldest out of 3 sisters at the time. So I was 9, I believe I was 9 years old. And my grandma, we used to live with my grandma. She had a 15-year-old daughter, but 15-year-old daughter, she's a teen. She did not want to take care of the 3 siblings. So she would complain to feed us every single time. And I clearly remember we would argue a lot. I mean, she was a teenager, we were kids or whatever. And she was making us fries. She got mad for some reason, said she wasn't going to cook for us, and left downstairs. We ran after her, begging her to come and cook for us. And then when my grandma convinced her to come and cook for us, she had melted the spatula in the hot grease of the fries. So then my grandma was like, "You're 9 years old. We can't always be taking care of you guys, like feeding you guys. So I'm going to have to teach you how to start cooking so you can take care of your sisters. And maybe you can start having food ready for when your parents come home from work." So I was responsible for my 3 little sisters and my parents. So whenever they came home from work, and we had nothing, we were super, super, super poor. So I was like, what am I going to make? So I would figure out what I was going to make for my sisters with whatever little we had in the fridge. But then the next day I was like, okay, we have the same things. Let me make it differently. And it became my chore, my forced chore became something like a challenge. I love challenge. I just love it. So it became a challenge to me. And every day I was like, how am I going to feed my sisters? What should I make my mom? And it just like the whole, like, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? Just kept growing and never stopped. It was like a little snowball effect. My dad is a chef. My uncles are chefs. So I would always constantly be watching them cooking or family events. Everybody's showing off their dishes. It was, so it's I think it came in naturally in a way, in an accident, because they forced me to do it. And then I liked it. So I guess that's my whole thing.
That's incredible. The fact that you have like just like family lineage that lends itself to that. And, you know, I am a huge like proponent of the quote that says, you know, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And the fact that this really does sound like one of those moments of, you know, like you said, you were dealt a particular hand, and you leveraged that and used that as inspiration, and you found like a whole new joy within that, rather than, you know, feeling defeated or, you know, being like, oh man, I don't know what to do. You really got creative, and it just like really sparked your creativity. Like, that is so inspiring.
Then when we moved here to the United States, we didn't even have a TV in Mexico. We didn't have all of the basic needs that we have here. We didn't have that in Mexico. That was luxuries over there. TVs, radios, all of that. Air, AC, all that is luxury. So when we moved here and we had cable, I would watch the cooking shows, and I'm like, oh my God, so obsessed with the cooking shows. And my sisters wanted to watch MTV or cartoons and stuff, and I'm like, just one more show. And then I would stop. At the time, I was into Rachel Ray 30-Minute Meals, Emerald Lagasse. Emerald Lagasse, Essence of Emerald, I believe was what his show was called. Iron Chef America. What else was there? I think at the time they were doing the next Food Network star, and Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri was part of it. Yeah, so he won on. I remember.
That's wild.
Obsessed with the cooking channel.
I totally forgot that that's where he came from. I love that. I love that. So with the thing, how did the new conveniences change how it shaped your how you saw cooking, or did you have like new conveniences that helped speed things up, or did you always like to lean back on what you always?
What do you mean by conveniences?
You were saying like, when you came from Mexico to the United States, like there was like certain like, I don't know if there was like any new appliances, or if you started using the microwave more, or if you just always like kept it, like classic, like you were like on the stove doing it as, which again, I feel like is the most tasty, but I didn't know if that like added any more.
Conveniences came as an adult myself when I was able to afford them, because even though we moved here in Mexico, we were poor, but then we moved here and we're another level of poor. So here we didn't have air fryers. We didn't even have a functioning oven. The oven was meant for us to put our dishes. We would store our comales and stuff in there. So we kept it on the stove. Yeah, everything was on the stove. But now that I'm a grown adult, delicious. What I ask for every single time for my birthdays or Christmas or Mother's Day, it's like, I need this grill, I need this fryer, I need this. And my husband refuses. Like, I'm not going to buy you anything in the kitchen for your birthday, for Christmas, or for anything like that. That's just doesn't make any sense. I want something for you. That is for us, because you use it for us. Right. And I'm like, no, sir. No, sir. I have fun using those things. Get me the thing that I asked for now. I literally begged for my flat top. This is something that I have, and I just recently brought it up on my Instagram about how I get really guilty because of the way I grew up super poor. When it comes down to buying stuff for myself, I can't buy it. I refuse. There's no way I can buy it. I could have easily bought that flat top. I didn't have to be begging my husband for it. But I just couldn't. I couldn't get myself to buy this thing for me. Maybe because I thought I wasn't worthy of it, and it was like a gift that I had to receive. That's why I never bought the flat top. I begged for 3 years. He finally gave it. He didn't even buy it for me, to be quite honest with you. He gave me his work bonus. They gave him like $300 in a card, and he wrapped it for me. And then he said, I opened it and I was like, you bought me a $300 card? And I was even like in my mind, like it was running like, oh my gosh, what bills are we not going to pay because he's bought me this card? And he was like, oh no, that's my bonus from work. Go buy yourself your flat top because I'm not going to get it for you. And I was like, let's go. Oh, nice. So I got my flat top.
So cool. Yeah. And that's like it's a griddle, right? Like amazing. I love that. I love that was your like one of your big wish items. I know my grandmother got a flat top recently and it blew her, like that's what she also wanted. And I was just like, oh my gosh, she's popping off. There's like nothing she can't do now. Whenever we, I feel as though representation and like how you see yourself and others has such a large impact on us throughout our lives. Is there someone that you want to recognize or give thanks to for their contribution or influence on you and the Hispanic community that like really helped? Like, did you see yourself in someone or have something that inspired you at a certain point in time?
As like in creators or just in general?
Just in general, yeah, just in general. Like general pop culture celebrities, writers, anything, anyone that you feel like you would love to like say like, oh my gosh, like, at this time in my life, I really, idolize their career or how they went about things or any of that.
Honestly, I really, really, I don't know if we can consider that to admire, but the Food Network chefs, I would see them living their life, cooking and doing all this stuff. And I always wanted to be that. I wanted to have my own show. I would make my show, like Alejandra's show, because I would pretend I had my own cooking show, was like a mixture of the chefs that I just mentioned, Emeril Lagasse. I would do the BAM to all my food. I would garbage
Yes.
pull this, like Rachel Ray would say. I would do all of that. I would do
Yes,
all of that. So I
yes.
don't know. Maybe I can say they inspired me to continue, I guess, or to want that dream, maybe to be hungry for this dream. But
Yes.
watching how my parents brought us up, watching how my cousins were brought up and all of that made me not want to be that person. And honestly,
Sure,
and
sure.
another one was probably myself, because there was a point in my life I was a teen mom. I had my first son at 16, and at that time
Yes.
I want to say I was suffering from postpartum, but I didn't know. So
Sure. Okay. Yes.
I
Okay.
did like a whole, I went downhill. Like it's a story that nobody knows, but I was really, really deep into drugs, deep into drugs. And I saw that. I feel like I moved myself from my body, saw my life, and was like,
Really?
that's not
Yes.
what I want. And I did a
Gotcha.
whole 180. And
Wow.
now, like, there's sometimes I hear my aunts telling my cousins, like, they use me as an example. Like, you see how bad she was, and look how she is now. Like, she's married, she has her family, she has her home. And this is before TikTok. This is way before TikTok. They would always use me as an example
Right.
because I said,
Wow.
I'm stopping now at the age of 21 or 22. I'm not sure. I said, I'm stopping now, never look back, kept going.
Oh, that's so rare. Was there like something like that triggered that moment? Because that is a really tough thing to do. Have like the own self-awareness to pull yourself back
I
and
was
change
tired.
what you're doing.
I was
Like
tired, tired of living that life. I was done, tired.
that's so good. Yes, you were ready. You were ready. You were ready to turn over a new leaf and really see something different for yourself. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Like that's huge because again, people always see the positives, but of course, kudos to the positives. But when you truly have, hit a really huge rock bottom moment or real change needs to happen, and like how you pull up and decide to change and like pull up your bootstraps and do something different, like that's so powerful. And I almost feel almost even more so than the wins.
Sometimes I blame my teachers and my parents, because at the time I'm an immigrant. I was born in Mexico. So they made sure that I knew that I was never going to be anything in life, that no matter what I did, I couldn't have a good job. I was going to work in the fields, wash toilets for the rest of my life. They made sure of that. So I lost hope. And I was like, well, what am I here for? I'm just going to do me. You're never going to get residency here. You're never going to get your papers. You're never going to have credit. You're never going to do this. So I was like, why should I pay my bills? Why should I do good? Why should I do this? That's the mentality that I had. And then it was like, no, we're going to challenge. This is a challenge. I'm going to prove to you that we can.
Oh my gosh, huge, huge. You know what? Like people really do speak stuff on top of us, don't they? And it's easy to believe it. It really is easy to believe it until you decide that you're going to be in charge of your own narrative. And that is exactly what you did. That's so huge. That's huge. Big, big, big gems over here you're dropping. Alejandra, thank you for that. I have this on my, in my list of questions. So Jeff, I'm just going to say this question on top of this because like that's like the perfect place to put this. So just give me 2 seconds to get this question out just for the recording piece, Alejandra, which is you've shared so many beautiful stories. Is there a personal experience that you'd like to share where you've overcome adversity or a challenging situation?
Can you define adversity?
That's like the perfect. That was like I think what you just said was like the perfect thing for that. So we'll pin that answer to this piece. Yep, that's so perfect. All right, so let's see. Since this is a Hispanic Heritage episode, I would love for you to tell me about your favorite experience with the Hispanic community and what was that like, and walk us through that experience and why was it so magical or special?
I probably want to say we went to a Mexico game in Texas. We went to I don't know, I don't remember who they played against, but we went. They lost me during the game, so I missed the whole national anthem, and I was so sad, like literally sad. So we flew to Arizona for the game, and they almost lost the whole group. So I almost missed the national anthem again. They were like, "We have one ticket, go, because you're gonna miss it," and they let me go so I wouldn't miss it. And I stood there doing the national anthem with everyone in the stadium, with the whole team in the field, hearing everybody sing the national anthem, and it hit me, and I was like, oh my God, like seeing all our colors, the flag colors and everything. It hit me. I'm a proud Mexican. My husband says I'm way too proud, and sometimes I need to keep it to myself, because I'm like, I don't care, I'm a proud Mexican. He's like, yeah, maybe you need to keep it to yourself. And I'm like, no, I want everybody to know. Hold on, Joseph. Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Sorry.
And so I know it's all right. Hey, that's real life right there. Seriously, truly. So do you have any advice? Because again, you have had so much success, and there's been creators that we've had in the past that are also from the Hispanic community, and they talk about, again, the lack of representation, that they never saw brown faces in roles that they aspire to be in. And I mean, I look at your TikTok, Alejandra, like me, 6+ million followers. Wow. Like, you are really out here speaking and resonating with so many people. What advice would you give for upcoming Hispanic creators?
The advice I would give, and I always tell them the same thing, is never give up on your dream, because I gave up on my dream for a couple of years. And then when I finally opened my eyes and I was like, we need to go. Never ever give up on your dreams. Dream big, and then just fight for it. So for Hispanic creators who are trying to, become an influencer or show their traditions and culture through TikTok, just do it. Mm-hmm. Just do it. Never lose hope.
I love it.
Never lose hope.
So good. So good. I saw on your TikTok, I think it's like one of your last posts is like tell me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, your La Mujer tour is it a grocery store that you were just like walking and showing like all of the cool things, all of the pottery and all of the different size tortillas and all of the ingredients. Like, I loved that particular TikTok, and I was like, I gotta go there, but I wouldn't know the first thing to find there. Like, what is your favorite like cultural ingredient that you feel like is unsung or that everyone needs to try but could possibly would only be able to find like at a store like La
It's
Mujer?
called La Mejor, like the best. That's yeah.
La Mejor. Okay. Got it. See,
yeah.
I got it mixed up. Thank you.
I want to say a lot of people have a hard time finding our spices and chiles, especially chiles, the dried up chiles. So that's like the best spot to find it. Or masa to make tamales. Not every store, there's a lot of stores that sell it. Not every store sells it good. But yeah.
Right. Like, it's like the best quality.
So definitely.
And the best taste.
Definitely.
Okay, got it.
Our masas and stuff to make tamales, or tortillas, gorditas, whatever it is that you're gonna make, sopes or whatever. That's where you're gonna find them.
So good. I have to go, because like when you were saying all of that, I was like, why do I feel like my pasol is like totally so mainstream because it doesn't have the fresh ingredients? And I'm like, I'm going. I need to go. I need to leave Sherman Oaks and make a special trip. So good. So good. Let me just see. I want to spend like this last few moments with you, asking you some quick fire questions, if that's all right with you. Perfect. So tell me, what's your favorite Spanish slang word?
Slang word. I don't know. I don't even think I can say it here. Like, slang word. We use a lot of cuss words. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. That happens too many, and most of them are not good ones.
Okay. Next. We'll save that one for a side call because I have to know. Yes. Who's your favorite Hispanic creator?
My favorite Hispanic creator, you know what? I look up to Jenny Martinez a lot. She is a Hispanic creator, and we're from the same state. So her cooking is a lot similar to my cooking, and I see her family, and how she's a big family person. So I love that. So I look up to her.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I have to look her up. Tell me, who is your favorite Hispanic musician or song?
Right now, I am really into Grupo Firme. I am obsessed with them. They're the new group, I guess. But prior to that, I was obsessed with Gerardo Ortiz. I called him my husband for the longest time. So yeah.
I love it. Did you have a childhood? Excuse me. Let me repeat. Did you have a childhood nickname? Nana, I love it. And did you have a quince?
No, I did not.
Did you? And also, there's two parts to this question, and these are some of the mic drop moment questions that Kalina is going to ask you in a little bit. And then also, how many quinceañeras have you attended?
Not much. Probably like maybe 4. Yeah.
Nice. All right. And what is your favorite family tradition?
Maybe New Year's. New Year's, we
nice. What do you
our tradition is to not be as traditional. So for New Year's, we leave the tamales, the pozole, we leave it back in the year prior. So we're doing a around the world thing. So every New Year's we do a different culture dinner. So last year it was Korean. So we did the Korean, Cool. So we did Korean last year. Then the other year, I think it was Filipino. So we still have to figure out what this year is going to be.
Cool. Oh, that's so cool. Is there like a date where you let everyone know by, like, so that they can kind of like get?
We start planning
get their
like
recipes in order.
Probably like a month ahead. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's so nice. Again, I can only imagine. If everyone has like their favorite dish, has like a great skill set, like what kind of magic happens during the holidays at your home?
Believe it or not, not all of them cook. The only ones that cook is myself and my little sister, the one that's always with me. We both cook or have the interest in cooking. The other two, we fire them before they even try to come inside the kitchen. And even one of them goes like, I'm not going to help cook. I can help buying stuff. I can help prepping, washing dishes, or cleaning up after, but I won't cook. And we're like, that's fine. You don't have to stay away. Yes.
That's an important role. You're like, don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Just like keep it moving. So good. This is amazing. So I always like to leave it open. If there is anything that you would love to shed light on, Alejandra, or share, I always like to leave a little extra time for you to speak on anything that's on your mind that you would love to bring to the
I always love to focus on the teenage youth. I was a very, very troubled teenager. That's why I didn't have a quince. I was pregnant at the age of 16, gave up on my dream from the moment I had my child till maybe like 20 years old, because I didn't have the guidance that I needed. I didn't have no one to look up to from my role models or anyone to uplift me. And I want to be that for our youth now. So I would want to, I guess, put myself as an example for them to see that whatever it is that they're going through, especially if you're immigrants like we are, that there's not a limit to what you can do. And I want them to know that everything is possible. Every dream is possible. I want them to know that they need to fight for whatever it is that they want in life. And I see myself in some of the troubled youth, I guess. It's not a proper term to use, but I want to focus myself on them because there's a lot of teenagers who do have that. Yes. There's some that don't. And I want to focus with them, the ones that don't have it. And I want them to see me as an example and be like, okay, I want to be like Nana Joe, not as in the influencer or TikTok or whatever. Maybe mentality wise, Maybe they want to be doctors. They want to be astronauts. They want to be, I don't know, whatever it is that they want to be. I want them to know that they need to dream big and they need to fight for their dream.
We hope you've enjoyed what you've heard and will come along with us as we navigate this journey to the promised land of the creator economy. Make sure to subscribe or follow our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or wherever you like to listen to audio. And of course, we'd love a rating and review if you get the chance. And special thanks to Alejandra for joining us today and dropping so many incredible gems. Make sure to check out more from Whalar and all things at the intersection of a talent network, brand partnerships, technology, and creativity at whalar.com. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. For Everything is Better with Creators, I'm Ashley Rudder. We'll catch you next time.
Everything is Better with Creators is produced by Whalar. Whalar, we power the creator economy. Learn more at whalar.com.